Kota Snell come on up on stage here, and she's going to share a bit of her faith journey. So Kota, she was doing the Red Letter Challenge, and part of the challenge is you sharing your story on Facebook or your social accounts, and she shared on her social account, and I saw it, and I was like, we got to do that for church. So I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing for you, but yay, she said yes, and so she's going to share a little of her journey with God. So tell us just like a little bit about you right now, just to get to know you and your family.
Yeah, so I'm Dakota. I am married to John, the bassist, and we have two beautiful daughters named Joni and Madeline, and we live in Ripon, Wisconsin.
Nice. So give me like a little bit of background. Like, what was faith like for you growing up?
Sure. So at about 6 years old, my parents divorced, and after that, we never really went to church very much, but I know that my mom and dad both had a relatively strong faith in God, and they believed in Jesus. But we didn't really practice very much Christian stuff. And when I was a little bit older in elementary school, I went to a Bible camp called Northern Grace Youth Camp. I attended there consistently every single year. I loved it. And eventually I became a counselor there for the campers. And then in high school, I attended a youth group, sang in the worship band there, and also attended an Assembly of God church in Shawano, Wisconsin.
Awesome. And you did a lot of that like with your family or on your own? Or?
Yeah, I actually did that mostly on my own. I decided to go because a friend had told me to, and they suggested I join them at this church.
Yeah.
So I took myself most of the time.
So faith like was pretty important to you at that point?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so that happens, and everything was perfect afterwards. So,
I graduated high school, and I went to Bible college.
Okay.
I went to North Central University in Minneapolis. I'd actually told people that it was my dream college, but to be completely transparent, my boyfriend was going to North Central University, and I just couldn't stand to be away from him. So I followed him, which was not, smart.
Okay, so so you guys stayed together the whole time?
We broke up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened after that?
So I actually dropped out. I dropped out after 2 semesters. I finished my freshman year, but I dropped out. Moved back home, met somebody new, started dating them, was really into that relationship. It was kind of my primary focus. I started to question God's motives. I wasn't really sure what he was doing with my life, so I kind of turned away. I started drinking a lot, and I started smoking cigarettes a lot, and I was smoking pot, and I just wasn't into the whole relationship with God thing. I felt like when I spoke to him, he either wasn't listening or he wasn't there with me when I would pray, so I just kind of said, forget it.
Okay, so this kind of pushed you away from faith, and you would say you were not practicing at this point, or a follower of Jesus.
No.
Okay, so how do you get to where you're at now? What happened, or what changed, or brought you back to faith?
Yeah, so several years of this bad habits and addictions went on. I met my husband in 2021, and we got married. We had our children, and it was amazing, but we were still, in our addictions and struggling with temptation a lot. We weren't practicing any Christian stuff or going to church or anything. And then one day, John told me that he was tired of being anxious and depressed. So he was like, I want to read the Bible. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I've done that before and been there, done that. Not really sure if it's my thing anymore.
Yeah. So at this point, you would say, your family didn't really have a faith. You guys didn't.
No, we weren't practicing at all.
Okay.
Our wedding wasn't religious, none of that.
Okay. So then what got you here? You're here now, right?
Yes, so I told my best friend Mackenzie, who she attends Centerpoint. She's right there.
That's not recent, right?
That is 5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, great photo. I told Mackenzie that John wanted to read the Bible, and she was like, you should come to Centerpoint. And I said, no. And she said, okay, well, a few months later, she said, you should come to Centerpoint. And she kept bugging me, and I was like, fine, okay. And I just had this whole idea about church in my head, so I'd made it up what it was going to be like. And then I got here, and it was nothing like I had expected.
Okay, so
Yeah.
your friend kind of pushed you.
Yeah, she pushed me. She had to push my buttons to get me here. Absolutely.
There's some persistence there that had to happen. Okay, and so you came, and then like, what happened next?
Yeah, so I walked in and I was terrified. I was so scared. I saw everybody, they were smiling at me. Everybody was super welcoming, but I was like, I don't know if I should be here. It kind of felt like the enemy was trying to get me to turn around and walk out. But I persisted and I stayed. And I listened to the worship music, which I relate to because I really like listening to worship music. And I was at peace and felt really relaxed during that time. And then the message was about burning your past. And I was like, okay, I have a lot of past to burn. So I'm going to try and do that.
Awesome. Okay, so you went through kind of that moment, and what happened after that? So like you are like, I want this again in my life, and what did that look like?
Yeah, so I kind of started to remember. I was like, oh, maybe it's worth another try. And so, like I said, I started to listen to worship music again. We started coming to Centerpoint consistently, and then John and I decided together that we were going to quit our addictions, and we conquered 3 addictions together. And through God, that was way easier than without Him, because like quitting, drugs and drinking and stuff is really, really hard to do. But it really, with the community that we have here and God on our side, it was like so much easier to do.
Awesome. So you started coming regularly. You felt like God wanted you to kind of quit some things and change some things in your life. Yes. And then like, now what does life look like? Like, what's different about life now?
Yeah, so now we make it a priority to come to Centerpoint every single Sunday. John and I decided to join the worship band a few months back. We felt called to do that. And we also attend a life group, and we love going to life group. We both are really into reading our Bible every single day and doing the devotional. We refer to Scripture for a lot of stuff when we're struggling.
I love that. You went from a family that had no God involved to like kind of having it be.
It's like the biggest part of our lives.
That's amazing. Yeah. And like having a mission together as well, like serving on the worship team. Yes. Like that's really powerful. Are there still some things you wrestle with these days, or?
Oh, absolutely. I think sometimes I struggle with trusting God's plan. Some things will happen and I'll be like, why? Like, this is so hard right now. But then I need to remember that God's timing is perfect, and that, if this is what I got to get through to get where I need to be, then okay.
What encouragement would you share with people listening that maybe are in a similar situation as you were?
Yeah, I would trust God's plan. It's easier said than done. But, and then just to keep coming to church, or to find a community of people that you can trust and talk to during stressful times. We found that in Centerpoint, and so we're super grateful for this place. So.